Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to everyone around the world. Welcome back to another One Piece video featuring your boy, Rosinante. Get ready. It's going to be a very, very spicy build today. Hopefully you guys are going to be excited for this one. This is one of those leaders in the format that has many different variants to how this build can be built. So we're not going to get into which build is better, why aren't I running this versus that. There's so many ways this deck can be played. And just to touch on that, we can put in 3000 Worlds, Red Rock. We have access to so many good blue events in the format right now. And like I said, you can do kind of whatever you want here with these two colors, which is really, really good. These are just my choices. And we'll get into why I chose these cards and all that sort of thing. But I want to talk about his good matchups and his bad matchups first before we dive into my deck list. Those of you guys out there that don't know or live underneath a rock, we have some of the main decks in the format that are doing really, really well, right? Sakazuki. We go over to yellow. We already know the big ones here. We have Enel and Katakuri. That's generally it when it comes to the yellow decks right now in the format. We're not going to talk about the ones that are like under the radar that are still pretty low-key, pretty good. We're just talking about the top of the top. So Enel, Katakuri, Sakazuki, Purple Luffy, right? Red Purple Luffy. Those are some of the best decks in the format right now. And he struggles with a lot of them. He struggles with Purple Luffy because he's able to ramp up and get giant bodies on board faster than you can actually, like, you know, build a board, if that makes sense. The Kaidos, the Paulies, it's a hard matchup for him, realistically. Now, when it comes into the Red Purple Luffy, it's kind of the same scenario. You have to deal with the Whitebeards. There's so much stuff in these decks that allow this leader not to do what he wants to do. Because again, Whitebeard will delete all of your small bodies on board, which is pretty easy. You have to deal with the 10-drop Luffy to give them a second turn. There's a lot of things that you don't want to see when you come across these two lists. And then you have Sakazuki, of course, which you aren't winning against, realistically. And then you have a wild card such as Red Purple Law here, which can give you a very hard time as well, due to the fact that you playing down Rosinante, Baby 5, Jewelry Bonnie, Sugar, just gives this man free cards to bottom deck to play cards from hand. So that's something you also got to consider. Now, other than those, like those big threats, you have a lot of decks in the format that you do well against, such as Katakuri and Nell. You will do well against decks such as like Queen. And this is a very, very good deck, even though it's like under the radar. Queen is still pretty spooky, boys and girls. He's not, like I said, top tier, but he's pretty good. And he's going to get so much better with OPO6. Can't stress that enough. He will be on the channel, I assure you. Now, other than that, there are some red decks in the format, which are pretty spooky to play against, which is Zoro. Zoro will give you a very difficult time. And we're talking good Zoro players at your locals or you should run into on Sim. This is a very strong deck into Rosinante. And the reason being is Zoro has access to cards such as Fire Fist and Jet Pistol, right? Which is generally in almost every Zoro list, right? And we have things such as this Fire Fist as well. And that'll clear your Law, that'll clear your Kid, that'll clear all of your small bodies on board with one Fire Fist, which really, really sucks. So that's another deck you have to contend with, and you're probably not going to have a good time, realistically. Now, other than that, decks such as Enel, you will have a good time. Enel has the same curve pretty much every single Enel list that you run into. Generally runs either Ohm and Holly, or they do the Big Mom Pirates with the Cracker and the Pero Sparrow. With that being said, you have options to deal with these, being Sugar, Yamato, Rosinante. Very simple. It's very easy. You get down to Sugar on board on your, if you're going second, you slap down the Sugar, right? Whatever they decide to play on board at that point, Sugar will rest, they'll attack into the Sugar. You block out with your leader, therefore protecting Sugar. Which is great. Going into their next turn, they generally do one of the two things. Ohm or the Cracker combination, right? They'll do something of that nature depending on what deck they're playing. Sugar can then go ahead and rest the Ohm or the Holly of that nature if they don't have Ohm, you know what I mean? So safely, how do they remove it? They remove it with Kadetsu and they remove it with Thunderbolt. That's it. which is really, really good because that's removal that they aren't using on your Yamato. If they're playing a Thunderbolt on Sugar, wonderful. They probably don't have another one for Yamato to come down. And this is a card in this format I think a lot of people are sleeping on, especially when it comes to playing into yellow. Obviously, this is not going to see play as much as you want it to because it's easily removable with Sakazuki, with Red Zoro, Purple Luffy. Like, it's, boys, it's like the dream, right? But into certain matchups, you generally will get this attack off. Now, into yellow, double attack and banish is huge because yellow plays on triggers, right? And if we're able to banish those cards, awesome. They can't get a trigger off of it. They can't play down the Big Mom from that trigger because it goes to the trash. You know what I mean? It's very, very strong in that situation. But other than that, we have other cards in this deck that are going to play off of one another, which feed into the synergy of how this build can perform. With the 5-cost Law, which I highly recommend you guys running 4 of these, no less. Law allows you to do so many things in this deck, it's not even funny. With the fact that you can bounce back your Rosinante to have Rosinante protect Sugar, you can bounce back the Sugar to play Sugar down again to rest another unit, which is really, really nice. Or you can just play off searches back to back. Now, another cool scenario with this build setup is if you play down Doflamingo, right? And there are a lot of scenarios where you look at the top 5 and they're not cards you want. So you put them on the bottom of your deck, and now you're like, now what do I do? Well, you play down Law, you bounce back to Dofi, you play down Dofi again for free off the Law effect to search again for the top 5 cards, rearrange them. In that scenario, you saw 10 cards for 5 Dawn, which is amazing. Or sorry, for 8 Dawn, my bad. But that's something also to consider with the different combos that this deck can do. Now, let's touch back on the Ohm and Holly scenario for Enel. With the Sugar, you're resting anything that's 4 or less when she's played down, right? Which is great. As long as she is on the board, she rests every card in the format that hits the board first. Other than things like Gadetsu and King, things that have effects on play, because their ability will go off first. With that being said, Sugar can rest them. So like if Enel hits the board, Sugar will rest it. He doesn't get the rush effect off, he can't attack you, which is really huge. The same thing with Ohm. You rest it, following turn, if you want to, you can drop down an X-Rake to pop it. It is very, very good in that situation. When it comes to your Diamante here, I particularly like this card. I think he's pretty good. Ideally, I want to see him more so in Birdcage Dofi, but in this list, I do think he's still pretty solid, considering that he can go from a blocker to an attacker if need be. And a lot of cards in this deck don't really have a lot of, how I want to say, like pushing power, you know, to like get in damage, other than certain early game units such as Diamante, Yamato, X-Drake, your Laws. That's really what you're attacking with. And I guess every now and then when you're poking with your leader, until you get to late game with the Doflamingo and the Kid. And speaking of which, Dofi and Kid, they're going to carry you the game, 100%. They're easily searchable off of Jewelry Bonnie and Baby 5. You can stack your deck with Doflamingo to make sure you're always drawing into your curve, which is pretty solid. Now, we do have some wild cards here, be it, again, the Yamato, the Straw Sword. Straw Sword is one of those cards where it's one of my personal favorite, and I think it's slept on with a lot of people out there in the format, let alone it's a green card, right? So we have access to this from Bonnie. We can search it out if need be. And one of the cooler things about this is if your opponent has a card on board, such as like a Queen blocker or any big threat, such as Kaido or a Magellan, something of that nature, right? You rest it, you got Dofi for the following turn, and you make them stay rested, right? Which is really, really good. But other than that, though, we're going to dive into some games. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this list. Let me know what you're running, your thoughts, your opinions, all that shenanigans. Let's get at it. Now, before we get into today's games, I do want to go ahead and say thank you to ACG Town for sponsoring this video. When it comes to like apparel and all that sort of thing, this is one of the websites. It's actually pretty solid. They have some decent prices, let alone there's sales all the time for all of your favorite animes out there. One Piece from Demon Slayer to Honkai Star Rail. Not an anime, but it's something that everyone out there is playing right now. Genshin Impact, Jujutsu Kaisen. There's a lot of stuff here from Bleach, Fairy Tail, all that sort of stuff. But either way, they do clothing, apparel, all sorts of apparel, from 3D printed hoodies, which are actually really, really good. And we're not talking about like those generic hoodies or t-shirts you find inside of the mall that has just, you know, a random anime picture on it. No. These actually look really, really good, man. These look pretty fire. For those of you guys out there that work out and stuff and are interested in shorts, I picked up a pair of these recently, and they have that double layer aspect to them. I know it's something simple, but these are amazing. And when it comes to phone cases, they range from a wide of different animes and mobile games and stuff, such as Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact, all of that. But overall, give this place a shot. Let me know what you think about it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Diving into a game today, coming at you guys with Rosinante, playing into an Arlong, off meta versus off meta, because why not? Let alone, this might be one of the first times we featured an Arlong here on the channel, which is kind of crazy. Because I've also been thinking about diving into him a little bit, just seeing where he stands right now in the metagame, which I don't think is too high, but you know, that's for another video. Either way, let's see what we can do here. This is a yellow-green deck, so he does have a lot of shenanigans that he can throw my way, which might be a little bit of a challenge. So he got himself Krieg, which can be an issue because it gets that double attack rest scenario, so that's a problem. See here, we get a Kaya off that Dofi in hand. We could potentially throw down the Doflamingo and the following turn play Law. Ooh. This is pretty good. X-Drake as well. X-Drake might be pretty valuable in this matchup, but I kind of do like the look of at least having one more Doflamingo. Let's get down to Baby 5, or Jewelry Bonnie, sorry, and attack 5k for lead. No trigger, please. Nice. All right, so we get the Yamato in hand, which might be valuable here, but I do have to keep in mind that he can pretty much rest it if he's running Straw Sword. He does have access to green. That's just a toss-up. I don't know if he runs it in this deck or not. That's a misplay. That happens. All right, 7k coming in the face. I don't necessarily want to take this hit. I don't want to go down so low in life so early, so I guess we'll block out. All right, so there's another Doflamingo. We knew that was coming. Let's go 5 into the Nami here. We have 6 Dawn to play with. So this is a potential for me to play down Yamato here. Let's take the Law. Now, we did it like that because we knew what the top 5 cards were due to the fact of Doflamingo, right? So it makes sense. I didn't really mind for any of those cards. Oh, this is beautiful. We're going to put Kid on top, followed by Dofi here. Kid won't be able to activate probably for 2 turns, depending on how we want to play this and how he attacks, due to the fact that we're going to drop down Dofi. But we still have the option to have the Kid on board, which is going to be pretty good. 5k, huh? Let's give him the Bonnie, because he knows that we have it. We got 7k counter in hands. We'll trash your life. Unfortunately, that was a sugar, so that does kind of suck. Now, there's a lot of things that we can do here. We can play down the Kid, and then that's it. Or we can play down the Law to bounce back a Doflamingo and play it back down. But we already know that we're going to draw into the 10 cost Dofi, so that might not be the play here. I think we'll just play down Kid instead. Nice. Almost past turn. So now we have 3 blockers on board. Kid isn't active right now until I put a Dawn to him and rest him, so he's just there for the time being. He's got 7 cards in hands. He does have Linlin, so that is a problem. I'll have to probably counter out more than I want to here for Law, considering he's 8k and he is hitting that sweet spot. Yep. So we'll get rid of the Yamato here and a 2k counter. I could opt to take this hit or block out with Dofi, which might be the correct play. We have the counter in hand, so let's might as well just do it this way. Alright, so what do you want to do now? He's got quite a bit of Dawn left. It could be another Linlin. It could be a Yamato. I'm not sure what he actually runs in this build. Okay, 9k. Oh, Django. Yeah, Django's a 5 cost, right? Oh, this is an issue. We'll block out the first one. Please don't have it, though. He does. Fair enough. Another 9. Let's take this hit on leader. And then I'll keep the Doflamingo around for a little bit longer. At least on this turn, we can drop Dofi to rest the leader and the Linlin. That way they can't do anything on the following turn. Sorry for the car outside. So for now, we'll go 8k to face. Okay, so we got a trigger off there. I got a cracker. I think we have enough blockers on board to be safe the following turn, so I think it'll be okay. Let's get down Dofi. Do the rest thing. Let's go 5 to face here. Let me get a card from hand, buddy. Alright, so it gives me a Fishman, which is fine. I'm not going to butcher his name, so it is what it is. Just do be mindful that Kid is not active right now. There's no Dawn attached to him, so just going to rest my Law. He's got 6 Dawn left to play with, so that means Cracker and the Django are going to try to do damage here. Oh, okay, never mind. We'll block out. Actually, no, we'll use counter in hand. That's fine. Two attacks left. So Dofi will be killed here, unfortunately. Let's give out a 2k. Actually, never mind. I think we're good. We'll just take this one to the face. Oh, now we have no choice, so. Nah, yeah, we'll block this. We'll block that. I think we played that quite well there. And now we just go for game. 1 life left, 3 in hands. We'll have to attack with everything. So we'll go 7k into Dofi. Nice. Go 9 in with Kid. And GG's, buddy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Coming at you guys with the exact same build as last time. Except for this time around, we're running into a queen, which is going to be a problem. Alright, I don't know how much of a problem, but it's going to be a problem. And before we get into it, we did actually do a rematch with the Arlong. And I'll put that here in the videos somewhere. I just didn't want to do a back-to-back Arlong, you know what I mean? But he's in here somewhere. You'll see him again. But for now, let's figure out how we're going to deal with this match. This is going to be a problem due to the fact that they play Yamato, Mihawk. Some of them run Ice Oni, the giant 8-cost card as well. There's going to be an issue. But coming from a queen player, such as myself, I should know what to expect for the most part. We have a very, very good hand that's going to carry us into the early and late game here without a problem. We'll take this hit here. That way Baby 5 can stay alive. And we get a Doflamingo off that, so I love to see it. So he plays down Garp. which is a newer card from the OPO5. It's not that bad. It's pretty good. It's 2k counter, but allows him to cycle cards through from his hand. Get another sugar here as well. Let's go 5 to face. Let's get down sugar and get down a Rosinante or Doflamingo. Ooh, this is really nice. Yeah, this will work. This will work. So we have a Law there and another Rosinante, which will help me protect my sugar if need be. Never mind. Really though, Plague Shot. All right. I didn't think that was gonna happen, but okay. Well played. That Ice Oni might be a problem. We're gonna have to contend with that in some way. Let's go 7 to face. Okay, cool. We took out his X-Drake, which is actually really good for us here because it'll slow him down from seeing the cards on top of his deck and start stacking things, which is nice. I could potentially drop down a Law here to bounce up the Doflamingo. But the sugar will also allow me to stop whatever he's going to do or throw down the following turn. I doubt he has another Ice Oni combination to take down the sugar. So we'll go 4 into the Boa Hancock, right? He's at 4 cards in hand, 2 life left. He needs to discard cards here. That way Ice Oni can be active and he can start healing the following turn. I know it seems silly, but just something, yeah, figured as much. We are going to kill this though. We don't need the baby 5 at this point, so we can attack into the Boa and just not care about it. Nice. All right. 3 cards in hand, 2 life left. 8 Dawn active. I'll block out. Silly goober. I didn't think about that. Guess we'll block out the Rosinante. That's unfortunate. Totally forgot about that thing, to be honest. Red Rock, of course. So we heal the life. It's okay, we're fine. We're good. Now, one of the biggest things here in this matchup is going to be Doflamingo, due to the fact that Dofi just stops Queen from healing entirely. Because when he's rested, he can't draw a card, he can't heal up. It's going to be huge. Ooh. Let me do... I think we should play the Kid here. I think Kid is a smart play. With 9 Dawn, yeah, we have to play down the Kid to attach a Dawn to him. We won't be able to play anything down from hand, but we at least get the blocker on board. Or we can play Law to bounce back the Bonnie or Doflamingo. I just think the Kid is the correct play. So we'll do that. Let's kill the Garp. And then we'll rest this and attach a Dawn to it and pass turn. So now we're looking pretty good. We cleared his board. He's got no 9 drops here. Never mind. All right, my bad. There goes the Dofi. You can't heal up here. So that was a silly maneuver. We drew into a Rosinante here, which is huge for the Kid. I think we'll play with the... We'll do the Bonnie effect, right? We'll draw ourselves another Bonnie, I guess, is all we can do. Let's play down another Bonnie. Hopefully find a kid. Let's go, boys. Now we can play Law, bounce a Bonnie, play down a Rosinante, attack for 5. Or we're going to attack for 7 here. Let's do this first, because we need a Dawn under kid. Gets a boa. Not bad. We'll go 5 to face. Yep. And then we can play down another Bonnie. Now he also needed to block there with that boa. Otherwise he was not going to be able to heal a life here this turn, because it would have had too many cards in hand. But he gets down another Yamato to pop my Law, which is pretty bad. He heals another life. This really is going to be one of those games where I have to outgrind the queen, which is not that difficult, because once we remove the Yamatos, we win the game. Like, just that's it, it's over at that point. He does have access to Mihawk, but Mihawk's not going to touch my kid. He's not going to touch my Doflamingo. Just at that point, we just win. We'll freeze both of them. So now this way he can't heal the following turn, and the only thing he can do is attack with the other Yamato. Is exactly what we want him to do. So we'll go 8 to face. These should be free attacks. Nice. We'll pass it up. We got 2 more kids in hand. Unfortunately, we gave him a Dofi off life. 2 Dofis off life. Unless he drew into that one and then we gave him 1. Not sure, but still. That's a problem. So he's putting cards on top, which as a queen player, that just kind of symbolizes that you have the 9 cost cards and or you're stacking your top cards to get triggers. So I do assume there'll be blockers up there as well. We've already seen the Ice Oni 8 cost. We've seen the Yamatos. I think we're missing Katakuri and the Mihawks right now. Why would you do that? Okay. Just block out. No problem. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. We get the Doflamingo, which can be played for free off kid's ability if we need to here. Wait. My bad. Gotta attach to Dawn first. There we go. Let's go to face. He has to block or he loses, right? Okay. Let's go 5. Nine Dawn active left here. We play down the kid. There's no chance that we don't, right? I guess we could Bonnie. We'll just rest it. We won't play down Doflamingo. And we'll pass it up. Because there's a potential that he has another Yamato here just to pop the Dofi. And I don't want that. He can pop a Bonnie. I'm cool with that. Yep. So 3 Yams, which is an issue. He's going to heal here as well. Now we do have the 2k counters in hand to protect ourselves and make sure we're able to deal with the Yamatos in the following turn. So I'm not worried about the third one. I guess we'll throw away Dofi and Rosinante here, or Diamante, sorry. Get an X-Drake, which is not going to help us in this scenario. So we'll go 11. This should... Okay, never mind. Alright, so we at least kill 2 Yamatos here. And now he's in trouble. Because as soon as we kill this third Yamato, we win the game. Let's go 5 to face. Let's get down Dofi first, see what we can do. Okay, so we get a Yamato of our own. Which I think at this point in the game, it could be a little bit of value, because he can't really get rid of it unless he draws into a 3000 Worlds or a Red Rock. So that could be our out here. I just don't think we necessarily need it. But just in case, right? Just in case. We'll do it like that. And then we'll just go 9k to face, because I don't have anything else to do. If it's a trigger, oh well. I just have to do damage to win the game, so. Alright. We got 3 blockers up. There goes the Dofi. We'll take the hit. We'll get another one. So it's fine. He'll heal a life, unfortunately. But this should be game here. Because Mihawk's not going to be able to do much of anything by himself. And this is the last Yamato that he has. 1 card in hand, potentially a 2k counter. Let's kill it with Dofi. And that's it, boys and girls. It was, I don't necessarily want to say it was a tough matchup, because we kind of know what Queen wants to do by this point. But at the end of the day, I do think we have the better late game due to the fact that we have the kids. And Queen can't really get through and do damage with 6s, especially when we have an 8k body on board. Just the nature of the deck and how it performs. And on top of that, with a 10 drop Dofi, he can't heal when he's locked down. Yamato can't do Yamato things when she's also locked down. Alright, let's go ahead and go into a Bello Betty matchup. Why not? We haven't run into any Zoros today, so this is the only aggro list I've been coming across. And which isn't really an issue, it's just one of those decks where by now in this metagame, everybody should know how to contend and or deal with a Bello Betty, not just as Rosinante, just as any deck. And you want to starve them out, you don't want to sit here and give them triggers. If you attack into them, they get a trigger, you stop, you move on with the deck. You got to slow them down by any means necessary by not giving them free cards off life. And Sugar in this matchup is going to be huge, by the way. Absolutely huge. Yes, they can play down Kuma to remove it, but that's forcing them to do something in certain scenarios where they don't want to, because Kuma can be used as throwing it away to get the boost for leader effect. Speaking of Kuma. Huh. Alright. Okay. We'll take this. We get another Sugar, which is awesome. Let's see. X-Drake and Sugar are going to be very, very good here in this matchup. Let's play down Sugar. We'll rest a Koala. We have 3 Dawn left that we can actually use Rosinante for. I think we'll kill the Koala here. And potentially just throw down a second Sugar, just cuz. I don't necessarily need the Rosinante right now, so we'll just do it like this. Really? Okay. Alright, buddy. I'll block out. We'll take this. Diamante might be the likely target, so that's fine with me. Blocker. And we get another Diamante off that, so I appreciate it. I wonder if he'll block if we attack into the Kuma here. Okay, let it go. Never mind. Sorry, X-Drake. No value for you, buddy. Let's just do it like this and we'll pass turn. And like I said, we're going to starve Bello out of getting cards from off life and just contend with board the whole game until we're at a point where we can drop our big bodies and be fine. Even if we rest the Ivan, I can't deal with it unless we drop the X-Drake, because I can't attack into it due to the blocker on board. So X-Drake should come down the following turn to get rid of the Ivan here. Oh wow, okay, you're doubling up. We'll take the hit on the on this one. He does potentially have 7k into this. We can block out with Diamante, throw down a 2k counter, and we should be fine. Oh, he actually is going to attack with that. That's crazy. We'll block out. Okay, we're looking pretty good here. Again, we don't have to do anything other than clear board until we get to a point where we're safe. And rest that. Throw down the X-Drake. Kill the Ivan. Diamante won't be able to restand here because we don't have any active Dawn at the end of this, which is unfortunate. But we can still get the attacks in by killing the Bunny Joe and the other guy. So let's go 7 here. We'll go 5 in the Kuma. You see what I'm saying? Look, they're not having fun, but this is how you have to play this matchup. Like, what else do you want me to do? All right. Thanks for playing. I'm surprised he actually wanted to do a rematch, but you know what? I'm cool with it. Like I said, at the end of the day, we don't see Arlong all too much, and this is one of those fun matchups, so, you know, why not? Off the rip, he gets a Nami, gets a Searcher. I feel like this happens every time. If not, it comes off a trigger, so there's that. But in any case, we don't have a good hand. Okay, never mind. Never mind, we're good. We're in business. We're in business. Let's get the Sugar down, attack into the Nami. Right? You'll let this go, won't you? Surely. Sweet. Alright, so Nami's out. Sugar's in play here, which is really, really good for us. The only way he's able to remove this right now is with a Thunderbolt. Everything he decides to put on board here will just, Sugar will interact and get rid of it. And the coolest thing about this leader is the fact that once Sugar arrests something, we can just block out for Sugar and protect her, which is nice. Alright, so he's going for leader here. We'll rest the Sanji. Game broken? What just happened? So he attacks, Sanji comes down off of his ability, Sugar arrests the Sanji, and then I cannot discard cards or block. Interesting. Okay. Alright. Well, that just happened. Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's fine. Bugs happen. There's not really much else we could have done there in that scenario. So realistically, I would have probably taken that hit. Like, I'll be honest, I probably would have taken that hit. Alright, let's get back to the game. I don't know what happened. Some weird bug. You know, hopefully they end up fixing it, all that sort of thing. I just hope that doesn't come down to whether or not if I have taken that hit, I lost the game, or, you know, all that sort of shenanigans. But we'll see what happens here. Let's get down the Yamato and pass turn. Yamato here is going to be huge. It's going to allow me to do so many things against the yellow decks. Like I said, they generally want to play off trigger. And he's going to have to respond to her. And if he doesn't, he's in a lot of trouble. If he plays down a unit, we just rest the Sanji. And then, yep, then Yamato is going to go ham. Probably for 9k. He's got 5 cards in hand. So realistically, yeah, 9k will work out. Unless he has another blocker in hand. We'll go ahead and take the hit. I think we're good. I think we're good, boys. Let's do the smart thing first, right? We'll attack with our leader into Sanji. It might seem silly, but if he gives me counter for this, that's less counter out of hand that he has to protect from the Yamato hit. I'm hoping he gives me counter though. If he lets it go, he lets it go. But realistically, I want those cards. Love to see it. Let's go, boys. All right, 4 cards left. He could have 5k counter in hand. 2 2ks and 1 1k. It's a possibility. Let's just go 9. Let's just do it. Nice, big rip. Alright. Play down another sugar. Or rest this, just for the heck of it. And then we'll get down a Jewelry Bonnie and pass turn. Actually, you know what? Let's do Baby 5 instead. Ooh, give me the Searcher. Okay. Now we're good. We got ourselves 2 sugars on board, which is going to be super huge in this matchup. He's already at 2 life, so unless he has a Thunderbolt or a way to deal with his sugar here, we're just gonna keep resting everything he decides to play on board. Let's combo out of this one. Let's do a 2k. He'll probably go 7. Yep. Let's let it go, because realistically, I don't have enough counter to protect it from that attack and Sanji. Oh. Alright. Sugar can't rest anything here. You clear sugar, right? Okay, never mind. Alright, we'll take it. We get an Apu, so it's another 2k for us here. We're at 9 Dawn. What do we do here? He's got 4 cards in hands. I think we should play down the Doflamingo. We definitely should play the Dofi down and then search and then play him down again if need be. But let's go attack into the Sanji. We only need 8 Dawn to do that, so we can possibly go 6 and then just hope we get a 2k counter from hand. I don't care about Geen. Let's get rid of this blocker. Nice. Okay, cool. No. Play down, yeah, Dofi first. Ooh, that's not great. I mean, yeah, it's okay, but let's put him on bottom. I'm looking for something else right now. Let's bounce this back and do it again. This will work. I wanted my 2k counters, but ideally I was looking for a Rosinante, and that's so I can protect my sugar and or Law in case he decides to do some shenanigans and arrest one or the other. Rosinante would be really, really good here, mainly to keep my sugars alive. Because on this turn, if he attacks with 3 cards, of course, then Dofi can come down and rest them, right? And in that regard, if both sugars are still alive, whatever he decides to play on the following turn, we can just rest the Sanji blocker and go for game. Like, ideally, that's what I'm looking to do here. So I'm okay with losing Doflamingo and potentially both lives, depending on what he plays on board. Nice. So it doesn't seem like he's going to play down any big bodies. I would think he's going to go 7k with leader, but I could be wrong. So we'll take the first hit. Okay, so no Lin. I don't have to worry about that. Another 8k swing is pretty big, though. Let's get rid of this. And surely he doesn't attack with Sanji. Because that wouldn't make any sense. He won't play down Django because he has no Dawn on leader. Okay, this is something he could do. Ooh. Dang, man. We could counter out, right? We could do that. 7, 8. Yeah, we could counter out, but we're losing 4 cards in hand to do that right now. Could block with Law as well. That's still getting rid of 3 cards to protect him. I think we take this hit. I think it's better to just take it and then risk and see what goes on here. Now, ideally, let's say the bug didn't happen earlier and I had no life left. I would have to block, right? We would have to do that. We'd block with Law, then discard cards in hand. We'd have to have done that. So now that he has 3 rested units, of course, you're going to play Dofi down. And the coolest thing about this is, for his following turn, he can't do anything. And I'll tell you why in a second. Let's go 5 to face. Yeah, let's go 5 to face. I think we should keep up the Law blocker, just in case. We do have quite a bit of counter in hands. We have 8k, which is nice, but it's probably better just to keep up the Law blocker. So, look at this. We have 2 sugars on board, right? If he plays down the blocker, what happens? We rest the blocker with sugar, the other sugar rests the Sanji blocker. Right? Therefore, we just go in, and he doesn't have anything to defend himself in this scenario. If he plays down any sort of card here, we just rest everything else. If he has a Thunderbolt, it's a little bit too late for that. So realistically, he could potentially Thunderbolt the Law and put 8 down on Sanji and go for game, because that's 13k power, right? And we have just 13k counter in hand. That's a way for him to win here. But if he doesn't have the Thunderbolt, if he's not running it in the deck, he loses. Because again, whatever he plays down on board, we just rest, and then go for game the following turn. So watch how cool this interaction is. So check this out. We have Law. We play down a Law, right? We bounce up the sugar. We play down the sugar again, we rest the Sanji blocker. And now we go for game. It's crazy, man. It's so neat. So he's got 5 cards in hands. We should go 7k here to face. This needs 3k counter. Okay, good job. Realistically, we just go 7. Because he still has to deal with both sugars, so... he needs 3k counter for this as well. If this goes through, we just win with Doflamingo. But this was a really, really good game. He played well. Nami searches... okay, 2k. But I don't think that's enough. Unless all of those are 2k counters, that's it, right? Good job, buddy. Well played. All right, we'll do one more game here, and then we'll go back into the deck list and talk about some changes that I'm going to end up making, if any at all. Other than that, let's dive into another game here, coming at you guys with Rosinante, playing into an L, in which this should be a difficult matchup overall, unless I see my curve, which you generally do. To be fair, it's not hard to draw into it with the amount of searchers and Doflamingos that you do carry in the deck. And speaking of which, this is a very, very strong rearrange right here with Doflamingo. This is really nice. Unfortunately, we don't see sugar here, which would be really, really good here in this matchup. Like, I can't stress that enough, how good sugar is into an NL. But we'll do it like this for now. We'll attack for 5. And the coolest thing about this leader is most NL players love to take life, right? Because of their leader effect and Yamato, like, they love taking life in the early game, which is fine for me. I don't mind. Considering that we are a wall, right? We just play a bunch of blockers on board. We're good to go. He has Holly in hand. Come on now. Yep. All right, so we get the Law. I kind of want to just go 5 to face and then play down Law to replay Doflamingo here. That's probably going to be our play. I think it's better that way instead of activating baby 5. So we'll do 5. He takes the hit, of course. Of course he gets a trigger. Why not? All right, we'll bounce this back. We'll play it down again. And then let's do... We have the late game already. We already have Doflamingo on board. We just have to have a solid mid and we'll be fine. Okay, so after this turn, we can go ahead and put the rest of those cards to the bottom of the deck. We know what they are. We know what we don't need. When we draw our next turn, we can potentially throw down Jewelry Bonnie, right? And then do her search and then put the rest to the bottom. Law is huge here in this matchup just because he's a 6k. And with the amount of blockers that we have in 2k counters, we can easily defend him. This is why, like, when I play Birdcage Doflamingo, it's very easy to throw down a Diamante and not have to worry about it. Because he can't pop it with Kadetsu, and he has to risk taking a life in the early game with Thunderbolt. And then at that point, we just throw down 2Ks or a Flap Thread, and we're fine. In this scenario, we block out, throw down 2Ks, we're good. Alright, let's do the search. I'm tempted on taking the Diamante, but Rosinante here might be pretty good as well. I think ideally we'll just take him instead. He is cheaper. We can play him down this turn with Law by bouncing the baby 5 back to hand, which is pretty good here. We'll play this for free, right? He's at 2 life. He can still play down a Gadetsu and pop something, but I think we'd be okay. Let's go 6k to Sanji. Yep. 6k to Sanji again. You might question why we didn't attack his face there. I wanted him to give me cards out of his hand. Normally, like I said, they just kind of give you their life. And at that point, it's not that great because you're giving them cards in hand. By attacking their characters on board, you're also starving them, so. He's feeling a little risky today, isn't he? He's got just enough Dawn to go 7k with an L, or 8k with an L if he wants to. We'll take this hit here. He's gonna go 5. We have enough counter to be fine, so we'll block out here. He's gonna go 6 into the Law, yep. What do we do, man? Let's do this. Because we know it's coming. Oh, never mind, it's a Katakuri. Awesome. Well played. Slow down Bonnie. Let's do a search. We'll take the Kid. It's about time we saw a Kid. With the amount of times that we've already searched the top 5 cards of our deck, and we get another Kid in Doflamingo. This is perfect. We're gonna freeze him twice, and then that should just guarantee us the game. Like, without a doubt. So what happens here is, in our following turn, we can drop down Doflamingo, right? To freeze whatever he decides to attack with, which will probably be the Katakuri, everything, right? Which is cool. We're gonna clear the Ohm. We're gonna clear the Holly, hopefully. Nice. We'll pass turn. If he decided to block there with counter from hand, we would attack with the other Law as well. So he's at 9 Dawn left. Potentially plays down Yamato here. He doesn't heal, but he will kill a target, which in this case would be a Law, I would think. Okay, goes for this one. Should we take this hit? Or do we block out with Doflamingo here? He's going to kill one of my Laws regardless, I would think. Oh, okay, never mind. It's in an L. Okay. Not worried. Let's take this hit. Why not? We can Dofi everything the following turn. Or we can Kid. Nah. We gotta do this. Let's freeze him up. Let's go 6k to face. We'll keep up Doflamingo. Surely he takes this, right? Alright. There goes a Thunderbolt. There goes Yams. He gets rid of that. That's fine. I mean, is it bad to Dofi him again? Or did we try to clear board first? Is that what the better play would be? Because I do want to get down Kid, but just freezing 2 times in a row is pretty detrimental to NL. To any deck, really. Let's go 10k here. Of course, he'll block out. I think without question, we just play down Dofi. So freeze him again. We have Law. He cannot pop the Law unless he decides to do a Thunderbolt here. 1 life left. I assume potentially that's an Amaru. Or not Amaru, but a Thor. It was 12k, 11k. Not sure why he did that. We'll take this hit. That's fine. Okay, so Katakuri. Surely you removed the Law, right? No, he gives himself life. Okay, alright. Well, that's good, because now we know that he has a Nell. A Nell is not a counterable card, so I'm totally fine with that. But it is another card that he can slap down and get a rush attack in. So let's clear board. We'll go 10k here. Probably go 11 to be safe into the Yamato. And if that's the case, we'll have to play down Kid. I don't need the Law to come down here in this scenario. We will not attack his face. That way he can't get the NL. I think this will be pretty solid. Because he needs 3k. Oh, we actually had it. That sucks. I guess it doesn't change things too much. We'll play down the Kid. We'll get down the Rosinante here. Attach the Dawn. We'll pass the turn. There's no reason to attack. That's 3 blockers up. And this should be game. There's nothing he's going to be able to do in this scenario. Like 100%. There goes the Amaru. Alright. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the end of the video. I do hope you guys enjoyed this list. It was a lot of fun for me to put together. I was supposed to put out this list like a little while ago, but I wanted to make sure that I touched on a lot of his ins and outs. I wanted to make sure I thoroughly understood how he worked and all that sort of thing. This is a difficult leader to build and to perform well with, just due to the fact that how many different variations are out there for this leader to be built. And with that being said, he has a lot of cards that you can put into this list when it comes to your personal favorites, your tech choices, all that sort of thing. Blue and green go together pretty well, depending on the leader and the cards that you guys have readily available. In this situation, like I said, you guys could use your 3000 Worlds, your Red Rock. There's a couple other blue cards here that are questionable, but you can use them in the deck, such as your Mihawk, your 10 cost Kaido, your X-Drake. I love X-Drake in this list as well. And personally, like, if I wasn't running the Yamato, I would slap in an X-Drake or 2. Yamato is a flex spot for me, so there's not very many options when it comes to taking her out. It's only 2, because you don't want to run 2 to 3 or 4 realistically it might not get the attack off, so that's something to consider. But X-Drake is another card that you could, I guess you could rotate her out for. But this deck has so many different cards you can actually use and do well with. And speaking of which, before we go, some of the changes that I would make to this build are going to be touch back on Yamato here. If you guys cannot find or get your hands on this card or don't want to spend $55 per single, that's fine. Understandable, I get that. So what can you sub her out with other than like things like X-Drake, or my other personal favorite will be Basil Hawkins, which is very, very strong here in this deck and can be searched out with Bonnie due to the fact that he's a supernova. This guy is hitting for 7Ks twice a turn, which is really, really good. The upside to this is if this character battles one of your opponent's characters, not leader, but characters, he restands himself. But you will be in those scenarios where nothing on your opponent's field is rested. So how do you do that? It's rather simple. You have a sugar on board, right? At the end of the day. So this card can rest 4 drops or lower, which is really solid. If you don't have sugar on board, you play down sugar, you get a card rested, and then Basil Hawkins can do his shenanigans. Or you play down Straw Sword, and then he can still do his shenanigans. There's a lot of ins and outs to this leader. But overall, this is my take on this build. I do hope you guys give it a shot. Let me know what you think about it, and down in the comments and all that sort of thing. Hope you guys do enjoy it. Remember to smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe for future content when it comes to all things One Piece on the channel. And I will catch you guys at the next locals. It looks like Uta is going to be winning this one. So, I'll see you there. Stay safe out there. I'm gonna head out.